Hi everyone, and welcome back to Fresh BCSC Tech. In this video, I'm going to show you a quick tutorial on how you can use different settings and extensions in Google Chrome and on Chromebooks to make your visual information, really just your browser, more accessible to anyone who might need to mess with the color contrast settings or might have low vision needs that require this functionality. So the first thing I'm going to show you is how you can use a couple of add-ons and extensions within Google Chrome. So an extension is an application that runs within the Google Chrome browser. So you have to be using Chrome for this to work. And it's something that you can use across Chrome, whether you're surfing the web or within a specific tool, it will work within those. And the importance of giving students access to these tools, these high contrast tools, is that some of our students might struggle to see certain colors if they're too much alike on the screen. It can make them disengaged from learning and reading if it's something that their eyes are visually struggling with. Furthermore, it might make content more accessible to students if they cannot see a certain color. If they have the ability to change that color, obviously they can tap into that learning experience if they have the ability to do that on their own. So this is some information and tools that you can equip your students with so they're a little bit more empowered to make their learning environment one that best suits their needs. So the tools I'm going to show you are free ones. And the first one is one that's provided by Google, but it's an extension that you would have to add. So if you go to the Chrome Web Store and type in Color Enhancer, this is what it looks like when you add it. You'll click over here, Add to Chrome. I already have it, so that's why it's a little bit different. And an extension in Chrome all of those will be located across the top bar here of your browser. And if you're noticing that it looks a little bit different if you use extensions pretty regularly, that's because Chrome did an update. If you're not seeing all of your extensions, this little puzzle piece beside your profile icon is where you can see all of your other ones. I have a lot, so yours might not be scrolling through all of this, but if you do, you can keep scrolling and see all of them. And then I would click Color Enhancer. And what Color Enhancer does is it allows you to set a threshold for what colors might be difficult for you to read, and it will turn those off, and it will adjust colors that are difficult for you to read as well. So you kind of set that gauge there on how you want your web pages and websites to look so that it's best suitable for your needs. So what you would do is you would click Setup, and you select the row with the faintest stars. And then from there, I might have to move my video down a little bit. We're gonna try it again. Select Color Enhancer, Setup, select the row here, and then you toggle the row to where it's easier for you to see the ones that are selected. And you click OK. And then you click Enable. So what it does on websites then is it took your color adjustment settings and will apply that across the site. So if it's a big drastic change, it will improve the colors that are showing on a web page so it's more easier for you to read. So that is an option there, and to disable that, you just unselect it, or you can just delete that extension if you need to. The other resource is another extension for Chrome, and it's called High Contrast, and this is one that I like quite a bit and have used often. It allows you just to change your color contrast settings on Chrome. So it's another extension that you would add, and it's across the top toolbar here. And it is this one here after I've added it. Select it. I do have to enable it first because I have it turned off right now. And then I have some options here on how I want my color contrast to look. So I can do yellow on black, inverted color, grayscale, increased contrast. And the reason why it's not showing up right now is because I have to be open on my browser and reload it. There we go. So if you notice, it changed that because I had selected that from my options. If I don't want that anymore, if I want to change that, then I can just change it back to normal or disable it. And that's how I turn off that extension. But you have some options there. This is something that your students could add as well to their browser. The other tool I'm going to show you is within a website. It's actually not an extension. So this is helpful for you as a teacher if you're designing content, and even for your students if they're making a project, to make sure that their colors that they select are easy to read. So the background color and the text color, because we know sometimes colors that are way too similar or way too close together in that color family can be really hard to see and might hurt our eyes if we look at them. Same thing if they're too bright, that can cause a lot of strain too. So what this website is, it's called WebAIM. And it's great for just making any of your content accessible. But the specific feature that we're looking at right now is the color contrast checker. And what it does is it scores color choices that you have selected for their readability and gives you some advice on whether it's readable or not, whether it passes some accessibility standards that have been put forth by professors and educators and researchers. And this is what a lot of web developers and universal designers use when they're designing things for the user experience. Is they run it through WebAIM's accessibility checker to make sure that it is standard and that anyone who's using a screen reader, might have low vision needs, can still access this content so they're not left out. And it gives more information and advice there. But if I am selecting colors for maybe a slideshow presentation I'm giving my students, and I really like one of those cute little backgrounds I find online that's bright, I can put in that color here. And I can see really quickly whether that is accessible or not. So this is telling me, nope, not so much. This is not the most accessible content. So foreground for me is what I usually pick as my text color, and then background is your slide background. And if you're wondering, this is not that great, maybe I need to change this, you can toggle and change the lightness and darkness so it's more accessible over time. And it will tell you what you need to do to fix it. So that's another helpful tool. Last thing I'm going to show you, I can't show you on this device as I'm on a Windows device, but there are actually high contrast settings that are built in to Chromebooks on their own. And the way that you do that is I have a screenshot pulled up here on my screen. So if you're using a Chromebook, in the bottom right corner of your Chromebook, there is a little menu button. And if you click that menu button, it's by the little power button in the time. It pulls up an accessibility option. If you click accessibility option, then you have a high contrast mode option there where you can change the settings on your Chromebook so that anything and everything you open on that Chromebook is based on those contrast settings. So this is something that you could show your students so they know it's there. If you don't show them, they might not know. So that's just kind of a powerful thing to give them. So those are some of our tips and hacks here for high contrast settings to make your visual content more accessible.